did you go? Yeah, I missed it.
Well, I went to the office area, city council.
This was at the city hall. Oh, it was, yes, you're right.
I didn't go.
Yeah.
But I did, I did the office.
I've had them for one time, because they wore out. They wear out. I didn't get them for a long time. I'm 7.5 years. But then, you know, for a while there, I didn't have any benefits.
You didn't leave her to under the cold rain.
Sorry. That's really scary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm transferring here.
Yeah.
And then I think that is, there's a man in it now,
Who was it through again?
every town has an Indian health.
Did I get up here?
Lower than certain amounts.
Yeah.
They have, at least in Alameda County, they have multiple forms.
But I write for Stephen.
But every county has it. And I think.
He doesn't live up there now either. He has a little cabin.
Free,
Up in Broad, but he doesn't actually.
Yeah.
They have a service.
Yeah, well, it's like, it's extension of our life.
Yeah. My health code is or at least in I have to make less than 15,000. But when my W goes up, I have to make 8,000. Oh, God. On the other hand, I have one more. So probably, so I was
I was in the low, very low 20s. Yeah, and then I also had a little bit of Social Security.
open the table on that one, 16. But I make some.
Yeah, you should have settled on that.
Yes.
I'm not figuring it out.
Yes, the whole
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm disturbed about it.
Well, I told him.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's kept progress since. You know, it's not like I suddenly got your monthly bill. I could really. Must be like one downstairs.
Keeps you going. It's part of what keeps you going. It's like it's not exactly easy to come up here, but it keeps my mind going. It's like it's part of that. Yeah, he lives in a place with several, parts of people live. Started pretty private. Jeannie lives there too.
What's the person?
There's no point in that. There's no point in, you can contemplate. Yeah, contemplate your sale off here.
So his mother was Nels, fourth boy. I'm forgetting
Yeah, it's pretty good people.
Phil Ball was on the house.
She what?
I don't remember exactly why.
Well, you know, if she had, they probably did it just because she was married to Debbie Arnett. You know, just a straight out racist thing. Or, you know, she may have said something that you could see.
His number is arrested.
Yeah, he was well. He was protesting all the time. The boycotts alone. Right. And what you think? I saw her speak one time, maybe 10 years ago. And there were these two young women. They had the biography in their hand. And they said, oh,
Hey. One's in my bag.
pretty good. Yeah, about
You're playing
yeah, one which was like, checked out, stuff like that, and 20 guys. And then I said to her, yeah, well, look at she turned out to be. Pretty good, how are you doing? Good. All right, you gotta get it done.
Yeah, I'm so pleased.
Further on
We used to go a lot more when
Everybody's got my lucky number.
Yeah, but that was 10 years ago. And he was there, it was 6 to 8 times a year. But now,
Yeah.
but Julie's getting older now, she's 15, and she has all these activities.
You're the guy tonight.
I'm one of
Two of.
almost.
Yeah, and I'm the mini teacher. You the mini?
Hello, everybody. I think I will hold off a little bit longer. I'm waiting for Chris, who has the paintings back from where he parked. We'll just wait another few more minutes. Eat and talk amongst yourselves.
No, she's gonna come to San Rafael. But
I was thinking about
she took this picture.
cross country. You know what cross country is.
Yeah.
You know, Hendrix.
No, she came over one day and me too, after all this time.
She's a hairdresser. And she also is an store owner that whenever it's open. Oh, is that a word? Your wife, she did that for you? I really do. And I used to be married to somebody who was married. I was married to a woman for 19.5 years. The last, no, she liked it. She had hairy legs for about 19 of the 19.5 years. And then she became traditional and
And you're writing still too, right? And are you still doing that?
Well, I just talked to these two young women while we wanted to talk. But they had a book. They had a biography. Yeah, and then the biography, they had a picture of her like real traditional. And they were commenting on that. I said, yeah, but they were. Turned out that he had no idea.
It's so, they're so good. I've got the stroke on it. One day I can think, but I can't write anymore. The next day I think I'm a masterpiece.
There was two.
She was anorexic.
No matter what.
She's small anyway, and then she was easy.
Every single
Well,
person.
she was that famous.
I
She
think
was
she's
terrible.
right So everybody right now.
She's way over to the left, but she's very weird. Huh?
Yeah,
So she divorced. She got her brain, her sensibility back.
Oh, I see you waiting for me to show up.
Are you coming back? Are you happy? I'll stay here.
hello and welcome to Sacred Grounds Cafe, the Wednesday reading. It's the longest running reading in San Francisco, continuously running since 1972. And let's give a hand to Teddy and Fiona who make it
Victor,
Thank you to them for letting us have
this is a bunch of paintings, you know that?
No, sure, photos.
No, I can use them.
Oh, good, good, okay, good. And, has anyone not signed the sign-in sheet that wants to read the open mic? Everybody on here? If, anyone comes in, they can still sign. We have a rather short list, we only have about 10, 11, and then Greg Pond will come in, later too, and maybe a few others. So we'll just see as we go whether we'll have one full evening and call it quits, or have a break at the evening.
Who's the feature?
The feature, thank you for asking. The features are Zara Robb, who give the Queen's Wave. The co-feature is Donna Emerson. Where's Donna? Oh, there's Donna for the Queen's Wave.
Yeah, I
And
know.
our main feature is Buford. So, what am I forgetting, Buford? Anything else? Jeff?
I think you've done everything.
Okay, so
Great.
without further ado, we'll start the reading with Owen Dunkel, followed by Don Brennan, Jack O'Neill, and Harold Terrazine. Let's give a round to Owen Dunkel.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm on the top of
First off is my latest poem, Sonnet at Starbucks. The day presses onward. My lips concentrate on the blaring trombones and conga drums that remind me of far off ecstasy and dancers. Yes, the pulse of dancers that move and sway, that carry on with the day's tedium and romance. Glows and visions, the mad pulse that cannot cease if the sky stop being blue and gray, if sirens stop blaring and making the noise shed all noises, the noise that penetrates all pleasure and silence. The streets are a serene jungle that jangles all that jingles and jangles, that jangles the jungle. It's called Fast, a prose rhapsody. Reasons trip off in a season of uninspiration. The inspired are not the expected. I am sitting on what? I do not expect a poem or a metaphor to show itself in the cold or from the library stacks where you would expect it to find a home. They, the metaphors that is, are never on the bus, nor are they really in the air, where they sometimes blow by like leaves in the wind. Poem number 1, Eric Satie, Debbie C. I sit pensively in the sea, as men mark time, march strangely through my reel, strangely opaque, thoroughly fake, Gates of treason against reason. Poem number 2. Christmas, New Year's, horsemen pass by. Yeats, I wonder why the fly flies. I sit with myself, books on the shelf. Sometimes I talk to a tiny elf. My neighbor is a gelf, I think I'm a Ghibelline. I like green beans. Time starts marching, marking time like a green marine. A room full of nouns. A squeak of mice, the noise nouns make. The room full of fears, the tears try to run to the rain for silence from the noise nouns make. Once upon a day, the rebirth of take and give. The reasons we forgot to, see more to reason for the season, a season of reason we yearn and pine. For away there is noise, the noise nouns make. Noise and nouns, the nonsense, the sounds. We sit and search the heavens, the moon and clouds penetrate the dark sky. Well, I will ask why and what we listen to. Well, the noise that nouns make. L'envoi. Nouns flow from my loins like flowers. A metaphor, the king asks his men for more than heaven. This house of images belongs to someone else. Two more poems. 1. Turn up your heart, the moon is full. 2. The morn of the moon is in morning. Another poem. I am like a boat snoring at the mooring. Poema appassionata. Set this house on fire. My thrust sets the world on fire. I sometimes think I am at the top of high achievement and excruciating responses. High achievement and high excitement and high achievement. Only Henry James. History is dark. Another poem. The icy trees of North Beach I cannot reach, for I am just a small boy that is yet to be obeyed. Another poem at Starbucks. People peruse like Christmas shoppers after Christmas. A sign on the bus says, not in service. Oh. People march and walk quietly up and down 3rd Street in the year 2014. Familiar and ordinary. No, the air has been clean of envy and metaphor and the certain love of loves. Another poem. My poems plod on the pages like a plow horse that pretends to be a dashing thoroughbred.
Now we've got Don Brennan, followed by Jack O'Neill, Harold Tarzan, and Chris.
I have pictures of Carlos on my walls. So I see him all the time. And I talk to him. And he hasn't answered me yet. So I just feel the need once in a while to read this poem that I wrote for you. Carlos, you left us in a hurry. Must have had important matters to attend to. Some things to investigate that intrigued you on the other side. We've all been watching out, expecting your sudden return, perhaps glowing and grinning on the outside wall of that church in your Presida, where the Virgin Mary did her thing in the 90s. I never could see her, but if you show up, I'm sure you'll find a way to penetrate my dull sense of vision. How about making an appearance on the Dolores Street Divide? I've been looking for you there on one of your wilderness strolls through the Mission Woods. When you were here among us all those years, your voice, your eyes, your smile, your gentleness and compassion were all miraculous. Not to mention those songs you often delivered on communion, or just walking down 24th Street. So come on back and show yourself to all of us, so the Catholic Church will have to canonize you. St. Carlos the Melodious. I still have a big poster, one of the posters that Justice made, that I've been wanting to come in and hang up here, but I always forget. I always forget. This is called The Wise Kind. To say that the wise are kind and the rest are morally blind means that all of us are wise sometimes, because kindness is wisdom, and all of us are kind sometimes, and at those times we see what is true as though the heart is the source of that vision, which is wisdom. So that if we could remember what our kindness has allowed us to see, we might stop judging ourselves so harshly for our occasional and quite normal ignorance.
Jack O'Neill.
So, I want to read one by Stephen Crane first. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands, and he ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It is bitter, bitter," he answered, "but I like it because it is bitter, and because it is my heart." And this one is by me. It's called The Inch Blame, and it's got a chorus. The inch blame has gone lame, now 20 feet are not neat. The idle mind is mine when clouds are sailing by, looking down upon the sea and waiting for a sigh. When working apart there is no heart, when working together things will be better. The idle mind is mine when clouds are sailing by, looking down upon the sea and waiting for a sigh. Like the little elves, crying nothing but 12s, or you can be sore and value your snore. The idle mind is mine when clouds are sailing by, looking down upon the sea and waiting for a sigh. And this one is I'm going to read by Lord Edward Bulwer Lytton of It Was a Dark and Stormy Night fame. But first, there's a bad writing contest in San Jose State, and I haven't submitted this, but this is my entry for that contest, and it was written pre-9/11. I've always been a sucker for a move, and she pulled the Titanic of them. Demure as the blue, blue sky between two skyscrapers, and I was twin World Trade Centers fused together of lust, lust, lust. Needless to say, I had to have her.
Did you win?
I didn't, no.
Oh, you didn't submit because of what happened.
It's
competitive, though.
What's that?
It's competitive.
Thank you.
That's okay.
So, but Lord Edward, he, this is not so bad maybe. When stars are in the quiet skies, then most I pine for thee. Bend on me then thy tender eyes, as stars look on the sea. For thoughts like waves that glide by night are stillest when they shine. Mine earthly love lies hushed in light beneath the heaven of thine. There is an hour when angels keep familiar watch o'er men, when coarser souls are wrapped in sleep. Sweet Spirit, meet me then. There is an hour when holy dreams through slumber fairest glide, and in that mystic hour it seems thou shouldst be by my side. My thoughts of thee too sacred are for daylight's common beam. I can but know thee as my star, my angel, and my dream. When stars are in the quiet skies, then most I pine for thee. Bend on me then thy tender eyes, as stars look on the sea.
Okay, next we'll have Harold Garazon, Chris Trian, Steph, that's me, Clara Sue, and Jonathan. Do you ever have?
Good afternoon, or good evening. I'm going to be reading a poem called You Bring Out the 80s in Me, based in the 80s and somebody who grew up in LA. You bring out the 80s in me, the red leather jacket in me, sleeves zippered with your name in me, the Arsenio Hall dog pound woot woot in me, the Cabbage Patch dancing in me, the freaks come out at night in me, the breaking on cardboard dance floors in me, the message in me, the pet rock in me, the Saturday afternoon kung fu theater starting Bruce Lee on Channel 5 in me, the Siempre en Domingo con Raul Velasco in me, the Aquanet, the cha-cha hair, proud, strong, and a Suzuki Samurai cruising Lar Canyon in me, the Rubik's Cube in me, the iced tea in me, the Pac-Man in me looking for Miss Pac-Man in me, the little Mac with ring boxing gloves trying everything but giving up in me, the dream of what you won't do, you do for love in me, the Lisa Stanfield in me searching for the I don't know why you've gone so far away, and the NWA in me expressing myself before it was safe in me, the creased khakis, the flannel shirt, and the humming I'm your puppet in me. News of the Challenger space shuttle in me, heard over the intercom in Mr. Morgan's English class in me. The it's so hot out here we slept outside in me, and don't worry because the Night Stalker has better barrios to stalk than Pucoima in me. The Wither Earthquake in me, the Homer Simpson in me, tormented like me over the blue-haired pretty young thing, repeat after me in me. The Nevermore in me, the Astro Smurf, the Papa and the Jerry Lewis in me. The Choose Your Adventure book in me, the boombox in me, playing on rainy days in me, to the empty window in me. The Timmy T, the Stevie B, wondering if I take you home. Will you still be the battlefield, the Berlin Wall, the Salvadoran War in me? The El Mago Gonzalez playing Spain at the World Cup in me, the Fernando Mania and Jaime Javín in me. The Donnie Moore one strike away from the '86 World Series in me, the What Goes Around Comes Around Bill Buckner in me. The Lou Diamond Phillips lip sync of Oh Donna at the telephone booth in me, the Converse Chuck Taylors at a PLSU cell in me, the ColecoVision in me, the Mark the Rat Ratner in me, the Ducky dancing like it ain't no thing at the music store in me, the Al Pacino thinking he was out but they pulled him back in without an Academy Award for The Godfather 3 in me, the Poncherello, the Florian Saldua, the El Louis, the This Is For La Raza, the Poema de Amor in me, the Now You Gonna Call in me, the I Ain't Missing You At All Since You've Been Gone Away, playing over and over no matter what my friends might say in me. This poem is for Celia Cruz. It's titled Guajira. Celia. I sing wishes into oceans like roots returning home, like listening for the radio to play your song. Celia. Mom sat Mom said, cabal de enamorado como tu papá when I took you, Celia, from Dad's treasured collection of cassettes in his closet after I heard him play you in his car on the way back from playing with snow in the mountains. I don't know if he played you because of Jose Marti or because he reminisced of home too, but I sang with you, Celia, softly watching the snow-covered chaparral fly by. I longed for the sea, the white rose, old friends, and a simple life for my soul. I carried you in back pockets of jeans, waiting for chances to play you full blast on a boombox or car stereo. I played you until your voice unraveled from the cassette's plastic shell. Mom grabbed a pencil and took you from my hand, Celia, and inserted the eraser into a spool, slowly, carefully, not to fold or rip the magnetic strip. No hay de llorar, she said. Handing you back to me, Celia, I ran into my sister's room, popped you back in the boombox, and pushed play. Celia, I dance on palm trees, in rivers and skies. My hopes fly, wistful and brave, like a first kiss, or walls broken by fists.
Okay, now it's Chris Tran.
I'm still trying. February is, like Garrett Murphy says, Little Bitty February. Here he is. Little Bitty February. They put Black History Month in there. So, in a tribute to that a little early, I got Martin, Jimmy, Tony Morrison, Bob Marley, my favorite. That's Trayvon Martin Young, and an honorary brother here, Mahatma Gandhi. So they're going really cheap, because I need to make it to the end of the month. So here we go. Powell Market. Hail the bebop, angelic, wild, willful notes of Miles Davis, blasted like Gabriel from a street musician on Powell and Market in the summertime. Brown girls and white girls and yellow girls and green striped alligator lizard girls, sashaying in the dampening weather in Mark Twain summer. Not feeling the cold, their high-heeled pumps pumping out the jazz rhythm, clickety-clack of the cable car turnarounds, where the junkies twitch and twitter to the fixed rhythm of the train tracks, which is supposed to be so sad, but I am happy and wild. Just finished a painting of Jimmy Guy, a Rasta man. I love the Rastafari, the jazz men, the sax men, and the sacred hornblowers with their instrument cases open to man and God. Today I got my paint rhythm back. Red, brown, blue, yellow, purple, indigo, African colors. It's not pretense. Today everyone is my brother or sister, even the little kitties and doggies, because art is a slamming open of the doors of paradise. And I drink her sacred milk and dance an Irish jig like I'm Marco Harps or some wild minstrel. The mindless tourists pile off the cable car, but I don't see them, except maybe that mini-skirted brunette with legs up to her bosoms and the African brakeman checking her out and the old Italian queen checking him out, and everybody checking everybody out, because flesh is the only currency that counts and sex is love made tangible. And why not? I might even make the sun come, or the wars stop, or Obama stop acting like an Ofe, or Chris Treon stop being lazy and push his art all across the universe. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll are and always have been the secrets of the craft, if you get my drift. And we are meant to stay young and get high and dance to the beat, the bongo players, the rhythm of the lovely jiggling breasts of all the goddesses. We are meant to sing to the beat, even though we look mad talking to ourselves with our iPods and all that bread and circus the fascists are breaking us down with, when all we need are the trees and flowers, the blue skies, no fences. And here come the buffalo and the monarch butterflies and the beautiful wild mustangs, wild horses they haven't killed yet, like the horses up Keith Richards' veins. Give us Keith Richards' blood and all the Bonobo. The Bonobo, the sweetest apes in the world, and stop fracking the tops off mountains to destroy the world in the name of Jesus, who was a married Jewish rabbi and a liberal tree hugger when he plugged Mary Magdalene daily. And the heavens sang hallelujah, and her kids went to France because Jesus was a pagan, and Moses was a pagan, and Bob Marley, Israel Vibration, were pagans, like a carousel on a teeter-totter, back and forth, the real helter-skelter. And it's like I've got Molly in my veins, which is X to you old farts. And I just want to cuddle the universe and the devil too. If you can't love the devil, then you ain't got love, because there is no love but unconditional, and no life but life itself, and no such thing as death, and the sweet sound of Powell and Market, Powell and Market, Powell and Market, which is the sound of joy, which is the laughter of the lion and the roar of the world.
Yeah.
I appreciate that from you.
Okay, so here's four haiku poem. 1. Man emptying cans filled with rhetoric befouled, dirty money stashed. 2. Man lifts heavy trash onto the clean printed page for people to read. 3. Campaign chests exposed, he followed the money trail to its source up high. 4. Thin, malnourished streams are trickling from some big lake, which has all the water. And here's one called The Child. The child asks me, why do we have to pay for lunch? Well, we have Lucky Trade Day tomorrow. How old are you? What is my lunch number? Are there nuts in the chicken nuggets? Are there nuts in the fruit? Is there cheese in anything? When is pizza day? What is my lunch number? And they tell me, I forgot my lunch number. My brother and sister beat me up. I just went to Hawaii. I just got back from China. The best thing is this. We look into each other's eyes, and just for a few seconds, they know that they are seen. Even the tall, wild boys left Backer grade, too tall for second grade. But this year, they are getting it. They are really getting it. That is to say, addition and reading simple words. The homework monster has lost its specter, and they have some small pride of mastery coupled with the shame of being left back in second grade and tall now. Imagine the one-room schoolhouse in 1860. Teenagers behind 5-year-olds, and all struggling to focus on the teacher, his pince-nez, and the lash, while father's voice in the head demands labor in the field. But mother insists on schooling. Nothing's changed. In those few seconds, as I gaze in their eyes, eager to hear what they've got, and lucky am I when tales spill from their lips about the amazing distractions which are their lives, one after another, some well endowed, others dodging brutality, each told quickly and cheaply as they hold their lunch trays and look up at me from way down below. Awesome creatures these, I bow to each one, my time with them a shooting star on the great conveyor belt of life. Next, please. I would not have predicted that my old age would be spent like this, plus riding the train a lot, writing and spending time with fellow poets I adore. A pleasant surprise, a gift at the end of a long and vigorous life. Okay, next is Clara Sue, followed by Jonathan, Bill, and Martin Joseph. Let's give a hand to Clara, please.
Mary Rudge, the Alameda Poet Laureate, passed away a few days ago. And so here I would like to read one of her poems to start out with, and then a poem that I wrote for Mary. This is by Mary Rudge, and the title is We Who Are Luminous. We who are luminous are radiant, are 90% light, who know a fiery fusion that makes stars and suns, whose flash is compressed of dancing atoms. We chart an inner astronomy, our nucleus, our energy. Without burning our eyes, we see. There is a crust of seasons that we wear. Seeds sleep along the bones, erupt and bloom in heats and darks responsive to our moon. Flames loop and leap the arteries. There is a core of amber in the womb. Beyond our brightness, our creation, cells connect in constellations of our own. And this is a poem that I wrote for Mary. Mistress Mary, child of verse, how did the curtain fall? With laurel crowned on haloed hair and loving faces gathered around. Gentle Mary, long endured brittle bones and heart. Mother Hubbard with a problem shoe fed her kids and filled the cupboard. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. A lullaby from earth to heaven for the wee lamb, light and spry. I'd like to end with this poem titled Twilight. Looking about, the sky has turned down a notch. Within seconds, the day is gone. People always ask how my father is doing. I answer, the sky is still glorious with the ever-changing light. Wonder if there is such a thing as permanence from a nearsighted point of view. Polluted air makes the best sunset. Will the ground disappear when night comes, when rain comes, beating down with their little mallets in the flash of lightning? Thank
you. Next is Jonathan, followed by Bill, and a new sign-up Ben, and then Martin Joseph.
Hello. This poem is about a space journey. Space pirate epilepsy. Consciousness techno fire. The journey begins. Speed and endorphin for the human alien brain. The orange conflagration marks the ship's Olympic clean. Scoops of screens on board the ice cream dream. The agile edge a point eclipsing dark exposure into the heart's a priori musings. Vanquish the solitary globe for the greener pastures unforetold. Innocuous layers of heaven parting past the births, quenching young avid minds with deep sea darkness. Consuming streaks, the comet's tail doth fly unheard without air grip. The triangular, sleek Titanic shines the grace of stars tenfold. Rusticating from the core the end of gravitation's curse. Man the joysticks, swallow the strain of environmental pain. Call of the astrologer, down the rabbit hole horoscope, onto Orion, onto Sirius, past the planet Hades, the fleece is what we're after. Salute the pagan planets, the home of invisible sprites and quantum kites, a landscape of spherical monopoly, the balls of godly athletes. Missionary motion, the elements wildlife preserve,
Scientific safaris, the screenplay needs no props. Salubrious sage, the spaceweed case, smitten before the alien race. Joust beyond the flying carriage, soon sets in the boredom marriage. Seconds to kill and minutes to rile, hours to squirm and days to decay. Aghast the emptiness and lone, adrift a billion miles from home. Stark frozen portholes, the mechanical tomb. 5 simple minds with nightmares abloom. Procrastinate till the unfertilized date, the epiphany of the existential fates. Careen or cast out, spill into ink, fill up the course with mental discourse. The loon has cracked the stale madness, words like decanters from crazy philanders. Song fills the sail, relapse of the jail. Psychomass of the nutty class, the crew has turned into crooked stew. Falter the bridge, no need for a bounty, the conscious past, swift, the mutiny shift. Capsize the logic and recap the haste, soon we'll find our final place. Falling through space, the rusty boat creeps, asleep at the wheel, the semantic curse. A curious slow lurch tells of something amok. The vortex tentacles grasping the clutch, unawares the captive's new path. Soon the stomach cringes and bubbles of lust, stirring the crew to jump in their sus. The last leviathan of dark despair, sucking in all with a keen flighty rush. The scene seems grim for the digit sum slim, the investigated pace aloof with a spin. Spake of these void and imminent crush, none can escape the black hole's flush. The looming event brings the men to lament. Professions spill out for final content. Doth pity and love, swooning secrets and jittery knees. The songbirds repent against time misspent. The mournful prayer of heady, irrational flare. Quickening hearts pound with insufferable lust. The laugh of the madman, the despotic requiem. The speed is the noose for the cantankerous booth. The fall to the apex, indefinable and uncouth. The hairs are raised and the guts float to twither, flesh stuck to walls as the head grows dizzy. Unconsciousness, the law of supernatural tricks. And first a great flash before infinity slips. Then tranquility was perfect as a frantic storm. Silence was deafening and all seemed to melt. The proverbial net of 3-dimensional planes became folded in half with tunnel-like veins. Then transition was adept at spurting through place, and now all gaped at their eccentric new space. The navigator and mapmaker were floundered with as clues and went fishing aimlessly for absent star spools. The Andromeda curtain now inside out, the beacons of time now twisted and bent. Awe turned to joy as the living dead spent, round in a circle their ambitious extent. Murmurs of catching Finnegan's wake and lassoing Hermes' unquenchable skate. Name the new babies and star system ladies, flirt with the comets and toss the new rings, sift through the belts for fresh gleaming minerals, didactic spontaneities and galactic clean sheets, dreams of the novel and fixatious great marbles. The random keen flag leans unstalled and shouting, primed to fulfill its only great fate. The planet is chosen with disco flashlights, innumerable fires and invisible tall pyres. Thwart the marooning the radio brims, the eclectic noise of intelligible mead. The kite hangs above the rock's great feast, pulling it downwards with sightless strings. The crew begins to correlate and swing into motion, speeches and spate, moments and tears as freedom brings jeers. The hopeful boat draws nigh through the layers, burning its coat as it enters the firmament. Quixotic pontifications of bodies and forms, sweet adumbrations of homely norms. The unknown is set, and the crew festers and bets what will soon jump into their view, and how must they become in a land new to do. The truth soon unfolds as the rocket recoils. Across to the shine they skip, across time, finding the ball bristling with spines of emerald hue, and buildings of metal come into view. Turning and veering, diving and steering, the ship reflects the trip's final goal, scraping now to plummet through liquid and guide for the shore. The spray conjures the azure spurs, fretting through ocean the coarse chorus lures. The wings now paddle and float in the moats. Oh, soon we must spot their greeting boats. The twinkle of time spots a whitish sea line, converging upon the virgin hatch for this planet's birth. Alas, soon it dawns with critical loud thought. The new planet franchise is merely a time lock. A metal boat scampers ahead of the snout. The very same faces look over with doubt. Seen as a reflection 1,000 years forward, the crew's both a menace with anachronistic shock. The space crew gazes the future's wild veil. The horde's sight consumes and turns them to dust. For the impossible truth can never be said. Father time scales verily inbred. The space crew then had to instantly combust.
Next is Bill, followed by Ben and Martin Joseph, and then our feature.
I'm going for silly, so I'm getting worked up into the proper mood. So I should get out of town before the moon comes round. She skips into town with her golden crown and her magical liquid light. She sings a song so sweet and long, we dance away the night. Then when we trance from song and dance, she robs us in the night. Now we face the day without our pay, and the moon is gone from sight. I had better get out of town, the moon is coming around. I should get out of town before the sun comes round. He stalks into town with his fiery crown, howling hellhound by his side. He kicks in the door, dumps us on the floor. It's off to work that we must ride. When we are sore, tired to the core, he pops his whip and we work some more. The sun is coming around. I had better get out of town. I should get out of town before the sun and moon come round. They team up to control us and rob us of our pay. By night the moon bewitches us. The sun kicks our butt by day. The sun and moon are rolling around. I had better get out of town. Be upon my way.
Next is Ben, followed by Martin Joseph.
Hello, thank you very much. Glad to see y'all. You know, I've been here 4 or 5 times. Let's get back in town.
Let's give him another welcome.
Nice. All right.
Young blood.
This one is called Oops, I Spilled Pandora's Box. The shiny silver bucket fell from my hands, hitting the ground. I was wet with water, or was it paint? Not sure if I am really this hungry, but it would be great to see you. Some words shouldn't be uttered. For example, my mom was a cunt, or I'm glad the police officer was shot. At least not said where I hail from originally, that being outside the belly of the beast. Sometimes the glass is half nothing and full of crap. Who to tell? Herein lies the fundamental reason for psychotherapy. Freud would agree that therapists listen as the unspeakable global warming persists, with confused scientists stuck in icebergs, waiting on the next installment of the James Bond series. The next version will be hyper-feminist and eliminate our memories, whether chauvinist or socialist. For society, that is why we strive for such grand ideals. Like opening doors for ladies, never for feminists, and going to church every time we feel bad, but you can't go every day. Even if you spill paint or water on your leg because the wind blew the lady's skirt up. The science of lust demanded your next 2 seconds. 1, 2. Paint spilled on the ego. Freud agrees. I agree. Please, just be agreeable. It's truly beautiful. The science of lust, that is. Or maybe the art that has been spilled like paint on this page. Yeah, I'm trying some new stuff. I used to rhyme a lot more and just been reading a lot, so it's exciting. This is another one in a similar vein. It's a little testy, but we don't have any young people in here. It's called Love Just for Fun. Inside you, your body. Should I be there? I grab your hand, interlace our fingers, one by one, as I slide in and out, slowly. You feel me, feel you, and I squeeze your hand. You start to breathe harder. I match your body and breathe in your ear and tell you how I want to hear, how you want to hear. Take it to the next gear. I bite your ear. You have no fear, only curiosity to take you higher. Where can you go? Oh, 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 oh. There you go, baby. There you go. Roll over. Separate for a moment. Then embrace. Sure you meant it, did you? Don't think. Just embrace. One last kiss. A double kiss. With a long last lip hold. 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 Then cuddle. Another move. What's the next move? Slowly. You feel me. Feel you. And I squeeze your hand. Go again? Want to go again? Let's explore the unsaid. It's jazz. Just improvise. No disguise. Let it down. No contract. No past. Doesn't matter if it will last. Just show me that ass. Show me that ass. Thanks, guys.
You don't have to be young to do that.
So now we're lucky to have, Martin Joseph. We're having Martin Joseph.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mark.
Good evening.
Madam Moderator, featured poet, distinguished members of the Sacred Grounds community, my fellow Americans. In my last State of the Union address, I proposed new approaches to solving the problems we, as a nation, have today in the areas of health care, the abuses of Wall Street, the disappearance of the middle class, the excesses of the military-industrial media complex. These approaches included the restoration of the Glass-Steagall Act, capital punishment for crimes of capital that turned deadly, and the imprisonment of those responsible for the Great Recession of 2008. Bringing our troops back home from Afghanistan and Iraq, the conversion of our currency from the inherited dollar to the earned dollar standard, and the proposal of the 28th Amendment to the Constitution. Corporations are not people.
Yeah.
Hold for applause. At the time, I said that I didn't have the solution for the greatest and most immediate problem facing America, the problem of America being overrun by zombies. But that I would work on it day and night. Heretofore, the way that everyone has dealt with the problem of zombies in America is to simply pretend that the problem does not exist. In fact, the cover-up has gone so far as to put forth a whole new image of zombies, one created by the conservative think tanks of Hollywood, that zombies are some sort of undead creatures with rotting flesh and simple minds. This misdirects awareness of the real problem. Zombies that look just like you and me and whose flesh does not fall off of their body in clumps. Well, not in the Hollywood sense anyway. But whose free will and capacity for independent thinking has long since died from atrophy. The extent of the problem is vast. Zombies now control the House of Representatives and the majority of state governments. They permeate the unelected portions of the government, as well as making a tremendous number of daily micro-decisions that collectively add up to a shadow government. I know what you're thinking. That I'm saying this is a Republican-Democrat thing. I'm saying that would be too optimistic of an evaluation. Not all Republicans are zombies, but pretty much all zombies are Republicans. Some, however, have leaked into the Democratic Party, so we can't just blindly trust one side. The progressives? Okay, I can go with that, because their core is flexible and indigenous thinking. Emotionally, there's the need just to blame it on a few leaders, but that too is a cop-out. Zombie representatives were actually elected by the majority of voters in their districts. The zombies aren't just leaders, they're also a large portion of the population that have been converted over from humanity. If there's a solution to be found anywhere, it is the understanding of the conversion mechanism that turns the human brain into a zombie brain. It is done mostly by prolonged exposure to the radiation of the 24-hour propaganda channels. Oh, sure, Fox is one of them. But the propaganda manifestations have many names, and each one is designed to capture a different portion of the brain. I would like to think that the Home and Garden channel is safe, but I just can't be sure anymore. If they look just like us, how can you recognize a zombie? Are there zombies on the left as well? I saw a zombie yesterday walking his dogs around the Sunset Reservoir just before daybreak. I recognized him by accident, as he originally thought I was a zombie too. He said hello, and then, thinking that I was one of them, began to rail about the evils of pederasty on Craigslist. Simply recognizing zombies is not enough. We can recognize viruses that attack our bodies, but that doesn't provide the medication needed to repel them and to cure the sickness. Personally, I don't think the solution will be found in the form of a pill, although if it is, it will probably be chemically resembling the old LSD of our youths. I appreciate Woody Harrelson's shotgun and infinite bullet solution to the zombie problems, I really do. But I also find fault with it. Here's the problem. Zombies were, at least in the beginning, people. They even still think that they are people. And short of a brain-eating and shotgun apocalypse, I think there's still a possibility that they could become people again. I know. Martin, you're way too optimistic, you'll say. Stick to the shotgun shells. But I'm also up for bold adventure, even if it is scary. So I say, why not hold out the possibility that this infestation can be cured and that we can reclaim at least some of these zombies as people? Obama has Obamacare. Why can't there be a zombie care program? I hereby propose the formation of a Citizens for a Zombie-Free America to act as an organizing center for administering the zombie care program, in hopes that we eventually will save both ourselves and our adversaries at the same time. We will use the same website that I proposed in my last State of the Union speech, www.nomorezombies.com. Yeah, I know. You will laugh. You'll say, Martin, how successful were you in implementing your reforms for the military, healthcare, and financial community from your last State of the Union speech? I'd say I was about as successful as Obama was in implementing the reforms that he proposed. But hey, at least I'm trying. Oh, and one last thing. You know how the top people in the gigantic drug cartels are not themselves drug addicts? I believe the same is true of the zombie creation syndicate heads. The Koch brothers are not zombies. They're just playing a different game. Personally, I choose to hold on to the dream that someday a cure for zombies can be found. I have a dream that someday former zombies and humans can join hands together and sing an echo of that great Pete Seeger spiritual, "Where have all the zombies gone?" We have hammered them this morning, and now they're turned. Thank you, and God bless you.
Now's the time for our features. Is Donna or Zara?
Which you want? I'm gonna go first.
Zara, okay. So first we'll have Zara Rabb. She'll read from her new collection, Rumpelstiltskin. She lives in the East Bay on the edge of Tilden Bar. She leads a monthly poetry discussion and is contributing editor of Poetry Flash and the Redwood Coast Review. Her poems and essays appear in Arts and Letters, West Branch, River Styx, Crab Orchard Review, to name a few. Her books are Swimming the Eel, Fracas and Asylum, Rumpelstiltskin, and the Book of Gretel. Please welcome Zara Rabb. We really love you.
Hi.
Hello.
Does this sound good?
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to start by reading, actually I'm going to read a poem from Fracas and Asylum called Brown Bag. This morning, I discover, forgotten in a corner, the wad of stiff brown paper that once held the muffins. Tiny poppy seeds spin inside the scent of lemon. I smooth it with my fingers, rescore the folds with care, and store it in the drawer along with all the others, a kind of nursing home for birthday wrapping papers. Folded and put away are dozens all the same, relieved of their emptiness. In these iron-hearted times, who won't give them some new use before the big blue then? I'm all empathy now for the worn and used, self-love among my other groceries. One paper bag, small, opaque. I might not notice it if I had no ache. You don't need to clap. Save your hands. Thanks, distracts me from what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to read from one poem from Rumpelstiltskin. And how she judges me. Rumpelstiltskin, you know the story, right? So in my version, Miller and his wife take their daughter to the king. They think they'll be important. And he's delighted, oh, she can spend the straw into gold. The daughter is a bit peeved with the parents, the Miller's daughter. How she judges me, my child. Well, child no longer. She casts me a wild look, fierce, full of hunger. Her rebellious disquiet, her pitiless truth. What kind of justice is this? Age closes my throat. Yet she accents all my fears, measures a tone. Stress upon stress, no Pyrrhics. I'm old, I atone. Eyes the color of celadon, she chants her wheel. Her hardness once hidden, she flashes steel. Wealth, her solo has glory. Forged in this new self, what if she should come to me, my daughter, my wealth? We weave our mutual fury. I'll not cock my ear or pretend I can hear her, if I be deaf by then. Now I'm going to read a few new poems. This is called Packing for Exile. This is after a poem by Ovid from way long ago, not a long time ago. What century? Anyway. When dawn comes, I think of that other dawn when you had to leave so suddenly. How unprepared we were, how full of anguish, knowing we'd not see each other soon, knowing you were leaving. That wasn't the first time we'd packed our things. We lived from boxes then, going from town to town like tinkers. Remember how we loaded the car that winter day in the South, sold our pots, and gave our books away? This time, we hardly looked at one another. I went out and got some things you'd need, warm socks, toiletries, magazines for the journey. We laughed at what I'd chosen, and then fell silent. The taxi waited. It was time to go. I'd stopped your going the first time, and the second. Twice I caused more suffering. I am old now, but no longer so confused. You are young and beautiful and must go away from me and find your home. It wasn't the Polish camps, but what I dread as I read night and hope against hope, whose words measure my fear. All that I invest in Eli and his poor father, Nadzhid and Osip Mandelstam, all that my heart has learned of pain and loss. One more? Okay. This is called Regrets. Goodbyes. How I do hate them so. Arranging our face, we say, you'll be missed. True, as far as it goes. But we're also happy and relieved, glad it's not us falling dead or migrating to Bangladesh. No, we're not the least jealous, though we avoid naming our anguish at the emptiness the going leaves us. That can fly like a handball to the gut at the end. What? No sequel? Tossed back, the word sticks in my car. If I stay till next year, I can expect the fine retaliation on second thought and the flaming sword of my regrets. This is of spring. Two more. I may make two more short ones. Spring 2014. It's not just the poor who suffer now, sifting through the bends on the avenues for bags rattling with stale crumbs. The well-off suffer too, in their way, from intoxicating visions of control. Meanwhile, our earth disintegrates bit by bit, because annihilation takes its own sweet, slow, sly time. Too late, the trees blaze with light. Axe in hand, we enter the forest. The land, stripped of her skirt of silver aspens, her bodice of firs, moans, and creatures wild, scattered. The soil under the sod dries and cracks. Below are numberless sidewalks. The numbed earth yearns. One more? Sure? Okay. I'll end with maybe a little less depressing. This is to the Berkeley librarians. I spend a lot of time in the downtown and central library. I love the old building. Okay, quickly. To the high reading rooms on Shattuck, spaces ample and legendary, poets go for camaraderie, and spreading our papers about for work. One lumpen brings his lunch, tucks his bedding up, and opens his Bible on the long hardwood table. He is haloed in golden dreadlocks. Though Sabbath, here we spend and borrow, and have our share of sprees, sucking the sweet from Dante's leaves, in stacks only a librarian can burrow. Though what we borrow we must return. The head librarian is gentle but firm. Thanks.
For anybody who came in late and hasn't signed up yet, there'll be another chance to sign up in the break. And our co-feature tonight is Donna Emerson. She will read from her newest collection, Following Hay. Donna lives in Petaluma with her husband and teenage daughter, close to her adult sons. She's currently the events chair of the Marin Poetry Center in San Rafael and a teacher at Santa Rosa Junior College. 3 of Donna's chapbooks have been published by Finishing Line Press. Her recent publications include The Place That Inhabit Us, Poems of the San Francisco Bay Watershed, Praxis, Sanskrit, Eclipse, these are wonderful titles, Spillway, the New Ohio Review, and the Patterson Literary Review, among many others. She has received many awards, such as the 2010 Tiny Lights Flash Competition. Her 4 chapbooks include This Water, Body Rhymes, nominated for the California Book Award, and Wild Mercy 2011. Let's give a good warm welcome to Donna Emerson.
Thank you. What I want to know is, do you guys come here all the time?
We don't want to up we can.
Every week? That's pretty nice. We don't have that in Petaluma. We have hay. And I'm going to read from my new book, Following Hay. About 5 years ago, I found myself stopping on the freeway and looking at cows and hay and following hay trucks. And I would follow them for miles. You know, I'd follow them on the freeway. I'd follow them in the country. I'd go to Brocco's barn in Sonoma. I wanted to be doing the hay, and I didn't know why I was doing this. I thought, I've gone off the edge. But slowly it began to dawn on me when I was noticing cows and naming them and watching them run downhill. Have you ever watched cows run downhill? In a line? They tend to run in a line downhill. And there was something about the way their heads go. It just got me. And then I realized it was my grandmother. My grandmother looks like a cow. Big hips, big breasts, tiny ankles. And I wrote my first poem called I Never Saw Grandma Run Downhill. But tonight I'm going to read from this book, which has some other poems as well. The one that's the most well-known is called Following Hay. So here we go. The first one is called Zanesville, Ohio, 1953. The birds fly from the door of the maple tree's birdhouse to the clothesline. where we wash and hang out the clothes on Monday. Sparrows slip into the pockets of Dad's shirts. Robins rest on clothespins, rocking, warbling with the wind, messing up Mother's lovely order of the days. Wrens in the gathers of my skirt, crows in the sleeves of Sister's dress, cardinals in the swinging sheets, me squatting on the back step, holding my breath so not to blow the birds away. If I fly with them, I'll miss ironing on Tuesday, the sprinkling and folding until our fingers dry out with furrows. I'll miss Dad and Mom playing Rossini's Barber of Seville, Mom on treble, Dad on bass, Dad's foot keeping time, Mom's toes on the pedal. I see the barber and his friend, their blustery drinking, swilling, my parents trying to keep time, Mother's 16th notes almost taking her off the page, until they laugh and collapse against each other, and we kids all laugh too, on the wooden floor. Mother plays Chopin's preludes and I follow her trills to soldiers marching in Poland and sad rain on the island of Majorca. I cry for sick Frederick. Mother says he had tuberculosis. She switches to boogie woogie, 8 to the bar. We all dance after we put our toys away. We dance standing up, then hands on the floor, so Dad will see our new ruffled underpants when he opens the door. Does anyone in here come from farm family or hay? Yeah? All right.
I'm one generation away from it.
Yeah. Following hay. I ride behind hay. The wagon goes fast. Bales touch the trees, clip foliage. Bits of hay dust and flour flip down, spiral toward the ground, muzzy up my view. Long bales, oats, stacked 7 high, not too loose, not tight, oat golden. Yesterday's hay was smaller, alfalfa younger, tighter, a checkerboard of green, then yellow, straw, and caramel slopped together. Chewable. I want to eat the caramel kind for lunch, for dinner with milk. Hay on trucks, hay in barns, in fields before it is mown, during its harvest, after it lies in piles or old-fashioned haystacks. Watching Wally on the haybine, the combine, walking beside John on the new baler, shooting round bales like babies out the back. I've spent summers watching hay's movement into barns. Is it too wet? Too wet to mow? How long will it take when the baler breaks down? The radiance on John's face when he fixes her and heads out to mow. 6 o'clock at night, late June, sun on his face. The gathering up. I like to pitch hay, lift bales. Alan took me to the barn when we were 12. We sat on the hay, fresh enough to smell all day. It poked through my pants. He told me about his friends, what boys think about. He showed me hand signs that mean things to boys. He said, "You have beautiful shoulders. I love where they meet your neck." He never asked for more than this in the hay. It rained. The barn stayed warm from hay, the animals, and us. Standing on the desk. I am 12 years old in Mr. Odie's art class, and he's teaching me to use my eraser on my watercolor of rain and sun, to make the sun stream like spotlights through the clouds. He moves the eraser by placing his hand over mine, rests his hand on my wrist a little longer. I start to back away. Mr. Odie asked me to be a model for the class. He lets me stand on his desk. He says, "Don't take your eyes off her. Let your pencil try to draw her without ever stopping your looking and drawing." I'm glad I wore my new turquoise skirt and flower blouse. Mr. Odie pulls his chair out to see better. While Danny Sessa makes jokes, I can feel my teacher's eyes. He's staring. I turn red, start to joke back, and Mr. Odie says, "Just stand still and be quiet." This was the beginning of the first time. I worked as a social worker. I worked in San Francisco and lived in San Francisco and was a school social worker, often in the Haight. And I worked a lot with AIDS patients. And I wanted to write a poem about AIDS before we knew what it was, because all of my students these days don't even know what that was like, but I'm sure most of you do. So I wrote a poem called Before AIDS Was a Word. 1982, he looks like a ranch hand, skin taut, bow-legged, hands smell of leather. The doctor thought it a passing flu. Now he's infected with some virus our town does not yet know. Smells like chemicals, lies in bed all day. He's becoming someone else. He presses himself into the farthest corner of this cold room as if he can't stand to see me. Turns his blotched face away if I edge closer. His skin stretched thin over bones like buckskin with bullet holes. I wonder if I have to worry about catching what he has. His creased brows more worried than my wondering. His voice breathes heavy, lost its low notes last month. He seethes in his throat with each exhalation. He begged a room from his sister on the old sheep ranch. She isn't sure, has young kids. His sickness balled up like bad news in the bottom of their basement. No one climbs down there. I look beyond his head outside his room to the new lamb, white wool against green field. The ewe mother ignores. I ask about his relationships. It's all past. For his illness, a blanket full of holes, which covers, does not warm him. I used to go into the Haight, but not the Haight, it was the Castro. And I probably went into 10 homes where a guy was dying of AIDS, but we didn't know what it was. And his mother had arrived from Iowa or Kansas, and in her blue suit and hat and gloves, and was told on the same day that he was gay and that he had AIDS. And then the mothers either abruptly left because they were very angry, or they stayed and took care of their sons. But it was just one of the worst times because we had nowhere to turn. We had no agencies yet. We had doctors that didn't know what they were doing. It was just, there was a cover of Time magazine, I remember, in 1981, of a little raft on a big ocean. And the article talked about how that's where we are with this. Are we almost done? One more? Okay, I'll read a newer poem. This is about Nelson Mandela, called Nelson and Bonnie. When I think of Nelson Mandela, I see Bonnie Rogers sitting next to me in McIntyre School, 2nd grade. Her face the color of strong coffee with a lot of cream, smiling bigger than the Susquehanna. Her freckles on her nose just like his. She taught me to suck my arm on the inside of my elbow. It made a red mark. You'll both get cancer, her grandma said. I took her home from school, where my mother wouldn't speak to me the entire afternoon, snapped at us both in the kitchen, wouldn't look at me except with hard slate eyes like the witch in Snow White. When Bonnie left, mother smacked me down, told me, never bring that pickaninny here again. Why? Because she's poor. We're poor too. I told Bonnie the next day that my mother wouldn't let her come home with me anymore. Bonnie and her cousin Irene called me a fool. When Nelson Mandela got out of prison and stood with his arms outstretched around all of Africa, I hoped Bonnie was watching television. And when he died last week, I imagined we were both crying for all the people who didn't get to know each other.
Thank you. Let's have another round of applause for Zara.
Thank you.
Now we'll take a 10-minute break, buy some food or something to drink, talk to each other, reason things out, and then come back together and we'll have some more fun.
I like this spiritual stuff.
I wanted to tell you that my husband
Like email or whatever, put it down. We have a lot of parties. Chris.
Benjamin.
Cool. Yeah.
One man,
I
one vote.
like,
Corporations
you know, I like the mixture of politics and everything.
That's great.
Oh yeah, no, I can't drive, years, so does my wife.
Oh, okay. Well, then now you can tear it up.
Oh, okay. Jean-Michel Basquiat. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I like that. I was not very good at it, but...
Oh, good.
Don, I'll see you Sunday, right? Saturday.
My favorite, I'm not lying, my favorite band are Mary. Out there, it's like, I'm a sad, very sad gentleman, very out there. You have email?
You couldn't have.
Yeah, we have a May Day party, whatever Saturday falls near the 1st Yeah. I'm on Facebook. Check out some of my paintings there. Actually, let me put my website too on this Facebook page. There it is. Yeah, that's okay. Here.
Oh, that's right. You did right here. Make sure you know what I like. Yes. I'm not going to go I don't have a room.
You'll see on there not what I really charge. Not that I'm trying to tell you something, but just to let you know. My agent puts me real high prices. I call him this German dude, saying, and he thinks he can, you star out of it. So he hasn't sold it here. People of that kind of bread. So, I run my own thing trying to corporation commissions. Forever. I mean, I started a day. Yeah, this is good. This is good. I'm trying to go to North Beach. Some of the other beaches,
long-term popular.
Yeah. And I want to get over there, hotel, and whatever it's called, get around. That's on Broadway in Columbus. It's nice to be like the bookstore, which celebrates a lot of the beatniks. But I want to get to some of the younger scenes, like you mentioned that just to hear what people are writing about, you know what I mean? And get back in touch with the contemporary. Yeah,
that's what was involved out of it. Published on
I mean, if you have a
Oh, I don't know.
good sense, like Yeah, maybe because you're, it's not just you're an Aries, but it's just like the work, you know, and I dig the saxophone. Well, sure, it works, you know.
I always got one poem like that I had to
No, it works. Anyway,
thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon. I'm headed out actually.
Yeah.
You gotta get your, I just want to say thank you. I was a many moons ago. English 1A was the first one. So I remember he just gave it to me, but I don't know why I won it, my alma mater. So I had like 10 years old. Gosh, even in tennis coach. I was like, hey, you should apply for what's the fee? I didn't even know. I had a wonderful, yep. Oh, did you? Yep, yeah. Yeah.
You're still recovering. It's like,
I think my sister's Well, no, my dad used to say you guys need to go to junior college before.
Okay.
I had a great time. I just want to say thank you. Keep up the good work. I love you.
I started
Yeah, it's like everyone that
There's a park where I play most of the games.
That's when I came in on because I was in this place where it was college. I was in that part of town.
Same bus. Same bus.
Do most people live around here?
He lives over by St. I work
We didn't finish the first time we nothing. We could start something early now. Stop at like 3:30 or 4.
I think the other, like the earliest year that we've done it was I had a traumatic
Really?
my mom died. Yeah. We're so used to having
That's Trayvon Martin. I I'm having a sale. Also have a lot of work.
He lost a couple of his fingers. He was tying up a bow and my dad died out. So he had a hard time.
Except that we got I knew that.
Yeah, I guess it didn't occur to me that like, oh, we should be careful about our.
Oh, yeah? What does he do? Does he work? Yeah.
How do you decide to do school? As you go, usually, yeah.
It's not a good kind of snack. It helps everybody.
Read to your the accident.
Just try to live every day and don't worry about it.
How are you? Hey. Happy holiday. Oh, okay. Just too poor to come here. But I saw my national something. They told me I could hang a couple of things with wires. Wires like Martin there. Plus I thought it was really galleries. Thank you. I feel good. Thank you, dear. That's the best. I'm gonna I hit her hair. My hair is red. Yeah, I was keeping it because I had it over a so I wanted to look old and feeble. So I went on a cane, you know, and now, fuck that shit. Trying to get hair back again. It bothers me. I think so. She took off one of those it's my life. One for parking in the wrong place and the other for getting a use of life. The guy threw the book at me. He didn't like me. And so she said, that's the best I can do. She felt sorry for me. She took one whole ticket away. And then she said, go and get either a payment plan or community service. And the last time it was community service, actually. And so I couldn't do it. And now I do that. But I can't start right away because you have the knee operation. And this right for the sewing up.
I know how I remember that. No, I just read it.
So she's going to be on a commission for and so I'm just plus Jack Burgess here.
No, it's kind of like
building.
He looks like a big bear. With all the beard.
And I got to be sort of his unofficial ride home. I knew him for years, but we never really connected. But I'm like, oh, Glory, man. It's this year is, gangbusters, so.
Oh, yeah.
You look good, too. You look good. Hi, Karen. How are you? I was thinking of you because Little February, your poem. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the January 29th, 2014 edition of Sacred Ground Open Mic. We have just a few more poets left. We have, besides myself, Jason, Garrett, Ed, and our mini feature Buford. And then we will give out our few prizes here. So thank you all for staying for the second half. And we will kick it off with Jason.
No.
Jason has not been here before.
I also haven't read this thing. I don't really do this sort of thing, so it's kind of interesting. Hey man, do you like to get high? Well, I like to blaze pathways to the mountaintops where the oxygen drops and time stops. And what my breath is catching, I think I hear a bird singing. Or is that just the wind blowing? Nah, it's my mind's freedom bell ringing, and my thoughts start flowing to places so glaring and soul-bearing. Now that my brain is free to speculate and ponder, to visualize, meditate, and wander, far from civilization, from the media's intelligence assassination, from an imperialistic society holding hostage my imagination. And I think about our backwards nation, where we oppress people based on skin color, gender, and sexual orientation. And this white male supremacy indoctrination is force-fed to us by the media and grade school education. The United States masses have their heads up their asses with a good push from grade school history classes. And we're buying what they're selling. That if I'm a hetero male with less melanin, somehow that makes me a better than. God, where'd that part of the poem go? At least, oh, there it is, it's fine. At least that's what the tapes in my head keep telling. We learn about Columbus's skill in navigation, and then in October we have a big celebration. We rejoice in the beginning of white male worldwide domination. The New World was full of heathens and savages that required conversion to a Christian denomination. Yet the savages couldn't fathom the brutality of the rapist murderer's New World occupation. In their search for the yellow rock that makes white men crazy's location. And think of the humiliation to be lied to and moved from shittier to shittier reservation. To watch your proud people treated like dogs and dying from disease and starvation. To lose your cultural identification through forced assimilation. And if there was the slightest bit of retaliation, your entire tribe faced government-sanctioned extermination. Now we give Indian names to ski lifts and sports teams as some sort of twisted compensation. And then there's the crazy horse abomination. What do you think it does to that great man's soul to be in association with such awful degradation to a sacred mother for a tourist destination? Probably how Jesus feels that after his crucifixion, cultures were destroyed and innocents murdered with his name as justification. What about him would lead to oppression or hostile inspiration? We learn about black history. What we learn about black history is mostly misinformation, if taught at all, or oversimplification. We learn of maybe 5 or 10 black folks that will be on the examination. I can learn more by putting KRS-One in my musical rotation. What about the basis for some stereotype societal infiltration? Slaves resisted by working slowly and general procrastination, doing just enough to avoid the whip's laceration. If the master was showing a difficult task, a slave could feign slight retardation until the master gave up and didn't work himself out of exasperation. Would you have done any differently in that situation? Yet that led to the still prevalent blacks are less intelligent and lazy implication. And there's little learned about the black experience after slavery's supposed annihilation. No one ever got their promised 40 acres and a mule as remuneration. So through intentional loopholes in legislation, blacks kept right and working without a break or vacation, not having a true opportunity for self-determination. We learned blacks could vote, but not much about the impossibility of registration. We learned nothing about Mississippi appendectomies, which were a systemized forced sterilization. And for white people, John Brown could be an inspiration. He was morally outraged by slavery and took revolutionary initiation. But when a white man freely dies for black people out of vexation, insanity is the given, yet false explanation. And we treat Dr. King's dream like a fucking hallucination, content though he warned against the tranquilizing drug of gradualization. We think it is enough after the Emancipation Proclamation, supposedly black people no longer had to pick cotton on a plantation, that 100 years later we remove the manacles of segregation. We can live with ourselves and that is consolation, but we are still wearing the chains of discrimination. And that's why 1 in 3 black men are in incarceration. Young colored people have to daily face society's negative association, so they face constant unwarranted police interrogation. And for a minor offense, a colored man could be in prison for a 20-year duration, while a white man gets 20 hours with the community service organization. Think what this does to young colored people's identity formation. How overwhelming and easy to give in to resignation, to accept society's imposed limitations, based solely on your skin pigmentation. And we leave no young colored kid behind in our lowered expectations, and then wonder why it is so hard for colored students to reach their high school graduation. 1 in 4 women are raped or subject to some form of sexual violation. 1 in 4 women are raped or subject to some form of sexual violation. Have you ever been in a room, looked around, and done the calculation? It's a depressing realization. Yet when a woman steps forward to make an accusation, it's often chalked up to a mere exaggeration, and you know her history. She has a certain reputation. Why make it harder to make this confrontation? Why no support for her victimization? What message does this send to young girls about objectification? And then there's Barbie, MTV, and Cosmo for imitation, leading to anorexia, bulimia, and diet medication, because we're telling her that her body is her source of validation. And so young boys need to learn that girls are not a decoration, that women are not meant for our subordination. To be outraged when they learn that women make 80 cents on the dollar for the same occupation. To be fed up with blatant exploitation, to seek other truths than society's sexist saturation. And GLBTQ youth often live lives of desperation, coming out as potentially deep ramifications, possible sudden family, friends, and community alienation. So there are high instances of suicide ideation. And the blood is on all our hands when that becomes too much of a temptation. For their whole life they may have a certain hesitation to make this revelation and face further degradation. What a soul-destroying stipulation, not to feel free to be yourself because of society's current evaluation. To paraphrase an RFK quotation, we cannot establish a great society abroad if our generation is unwilling or unable to create one in our civilization.
we could do well to give this some consideration. Of World War II, we learn about the horrors of Jewish extermination and Nazi concentrations, or the Japanese atrocious medical examinations, while our own innocent Japanese Americans were put in installations without any instigation until after the genocidal A-bomb detonation. And the Japanese are still living with the effects of radiation and genetic deformation. Yet worldwide, we are claiming to help through militarization. I don't understand our high and mighty justification. When in our own society, so many live lives of marginalization, but too many don't want to face the insinuation that maybe I'm racist or sexist and attached to the unearned privilege of domination, to choose continued brainwave insulation, turn our mind off and the tube on for nightly veneration, flipping through to find a station, to get our fix on our celebrity gossip infatuation, our American Idol fascination, our Kim Kardashian fixation, or who more lies in administration and keep our souls safe in isolation. Instead of being filled with benevolent rage and indignation, to have irritation, vexation, and frustration flow through us, our veins like a heartbreaking envenomation, to seek a vaccination and have a determination to end our mind, heart, and soul's colonization by seeking out true information, by having diversity conversations, so we might have true integration for all justice and liberation. I'm a hetero white guy, so I have to work to be a colored, queer, and feminine ally, and that helps my soul fly. So yeah, I like to get so high.
Yeah.
Good job, man. Nice ride.
I just want to make a short announcement here on behalf of Don Brennan. This Saturday, 7 p.m. at Cafe La Promenade on Balboa and 38, right across from the Balboa Theater, Jerry Farras will be the feature. So please come out this Saturday, February 1st at 7 p.m. All right. Now, next we will hear from Garrett Murphy. Garrett Murphy.
Addicted to crackdowns. Do you have a craving to punish simply because you can? Do you desire death penalties of looking out of the ordinary? Does the notion of collective punishment send you into ecstasy? Do you crave fantasies of maximum security prisons for accidental littering? If any of the above describes you, you may be addicted to crackdowns. But not to worry, we have a brand new group for you, Crackdownies Anonymous. And you need not worry about exposition in your identity on the part of our organization. Of course, we cannot assume responsibility for your identity being revealed by your own blatant acts in your addiction. Crackdownies Anonymous is especially recommended for bosses, parents, police, judges, prosecutors, presidents, governors, school superintendents, principals, and administrators of all stripes, and anyone else drunk on their authority. Crackdown addiction is not easy to overcome, the most sought after and popular addiction by far, having long surpassed love addiction in its appeal, and food addiction is difficult to overcome. Other addictions trail far behind. Crackdownies Anonymous is still in its infancy, and studies have yet to be completed concerning its effectiveness. However, the time is long overdue for an organization such as this. Our prisons, shelters, and asylums are far from many casualties of crackdown addiction, and there are many casualties out on the street as well. And you may already be one of them. Never mind knowing one. Join Crackdownies Anonymous. Crack down on crackdowns. Check, please don't. Okay, your state ID. Check. Your driver's license. Check. Photo ID. Check. Vehicle registration. Check. Birth certificate. Check. Passport. Check. Marriage certificate. Check. Doctor verification. Check. Power of attorney. Check. High school diploma. Check. Middle school diploma. Check. Elementary school diploma. Check. Proof of residential living for the last 20 years. Check. Military honorable discharge. Check. Proof of mental competency. Check. all this stuff just to obtain a gun? Gun? What gun? This is a voter's registration card. The gun owner's registration is Advanced Express Lane, the one with fast tracking processing. No waiting there, not ever.
Thank you, Garrett. I'm going to read a couple. Then we have Ed and Pablo, would you like to read?
Sure, I'll read it.
Okay, great. Okay, and we also have Buford as our mini feature. Okay. I think I'm going to dedicate this to the memory of Pete Seeger.
All right.
This is called War at Home. The people at home don't care anymore. The people at home forgot there's a war. Where some people fight, where hate blocks the light, where broken children bleed and greed's the only goal. The people at home pretend they don't know what the people at war have been fighting for. And those who hide behind the door are the privileged ones, not the poor, while greed trumps the need to protect our collective souls from the horrors of war abroad and the horrors of war at home. And this other poem is not one of mine, but I happened to read it earlier today, so I think I'll share it. It's called The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood. I looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood and I took the one less traveled by, and that is make all the difference. Thank you. Okay, Ed is our next poet.
Me?
Yes, sir. Ed my cue. Yes, indeed. We have Kelly.
Thank you. Okay, probably, yeah. Islands in middle of lives. Recall the old Zen story of the person who comes to an obstruction right in the middle of the journey of life and sees three choices. 1, attempt to force advance. 2, go around. 3, turn about and go back and maybe find some other life highway to begin on some other mode. But person does the Zen thing and just sits there and meditates, and after some time notices hot dog stands, veggie bars, shops, bookstores, discos that have been set up by other travelers who paused and sees they have created a whole new unplanned community. One day, person finds a circus nearby, and as the Ohms would have it, meets a Lama who sells him the mantra Om Padmos Nisya Vimali Hum Fat. It's said in the Katsita Dasakra Sutra that whoever sees, hears, remembers, or touches this prayer will be purified of all negativity and gain freedom from rebirth in the lower regions. person begins to reproduce the mantra on saffron-colored strips, and then later with pastels, paper, cloth, plastic, tin strips, and but not leather. And then with more primary colors, also with light printing on a darker field, and sells them cheaply at some recitations of his life so far, making many friends, including a balloonist who offers him a ride up over the initial obstruction. And the story that goes on from there is one that journeyers may navigate for themselves on the river of life when they come to an island right in the middle of their life.
Thank you, Ed. Next up, we'll have our mini feature, Buford Bunting.
It's almost baseball season, so I have a baseball game. This is called Tim Lincecum. Tim Lincecum fights for his right to smoke pot, gears his 95-mile-an-hour fastball arm for the 2014 season. His hair is short, shorter than in most years past. His delivery is still slingshot, like the tips of his fingers curled around a white stitched baseball. His aim for greatness, a one-hitter and a no-hitter last year, with practically no hitters on a near powerless club, necessitating nastiness on just about every pitch he throws. I saw, and I really recommend this movie if you can. You might have to check it out, but it's a really great movie called The Dallas Buyers Club. So this is about my attending the Dallas Buyers Club. It's called the Dallas Buyers Club and You. We sit in the three-quarter empty movie theater as Matthew McConaughey, dangerously thin in his portrayal of a 1980s cowboy who tries to save other HIV-positive people in a Texas urban environment. You take me to the movie I've been wanting to see, your braided locks glistening brown and dyed golden in the movie screen light. Your big eyes take in the sometimes sad, sometimes triumphant film. My eyes constantly making sure I'm not pushing your smallish arm off the mutual armrest. I almost cry at the character's plight in the poignant movie. Our own poignant relationship holding tight, one I would like to remain forever. Your own personal life, violent men threatening to completely destroy your strong, beautiful heart. This is about my student. For those of you, most of you know probably, but for those who don't know, I'm a teacher's aide in the San Francisco school with severely, how do they put it? The kids are real, they have very little skill because they've had brain damage, most of them. This is called Brian Walks Away. Brian, autistic but with a good heart, walks away from the ignorant high school kids and young support staff who offer too little support and lots of criticism of my staff expertise. It's your opinion, and I think it's basically wrong, I want to say to the youthful inconsideration. Brian gets up again. He knows something's up. Oh, I want to go back way back here. The first of this deal. This is about my friend. Same one I went to see, the Matthew McConaughey AIDS movie. This is called Because the Young Men Please You. Because the young men pleasure you in bed, you sleep with them, though sometimes they abuse you physically or verbally or most definitely psychologically abuse you. They get inside your skull, they get in between your short, stocky, beautiful legs. Because the young men please you. Because the young men please you. We older, more mature guys don't slap your face or your heart around because we love you and would never hurt you. Abuse not our game, yet you come back to the young guys who hurt you and sexually assault you because you were sexually abused as a young child and can't get them out of your skull or from between your legs. They crawl into your heart, they burrow somehow into your brain. Bugs that destroy your firm, beautiful fiber. Sex gods so mean the devil has rejected them. Young men who satisfy as they take your dignity away.
Yeah.
Wow. How much time do I have left, Greg? How much? 3? Okay. Let's see. Sorry. It's my time. It's up to you. Okay. This is about my job. It's called The Administrators Chew Her Out. The administrators chewed her out, my fellow teacher's aide, and so she did not show up for work today or yesterday. It seems one cannot disagree with the immediate supervisor, at least not in a vehement way. The bureaucracy all-encompassing over us hard-working, underpaid underlings. So today, there was another nice, young, yet basically clueless substitute aide there. The regular help, at least 1/3 of us gone for the day. While the immediate supervisor / head teacher was late yet again for work, I was chewed out for not attending closely enough to one of the greatest problem children / adolescents in the room. You should have taken care of her. The rest of the kids are no problem. The head teacher understated the problem of caring for a handful of severely impaired students, while the teacher's husband or brother or whoever he was let her out of the car this morning at least 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
Thank you, Buford. And now, our last poet, Pablo. Take us home.
They're out of coffee, and she was so sweet. She offered to make me a new pot of coffee. I don't think I finished the whole pot, so I got some tea. She asked me what kind. I said jasmine. So you never know what poem you're gonna read, but this poem has jasmine in it, and it's a poem that I wrote for Claire's get together. She has, or at least she used to have the winter.
It's a poem exchange.
Yeah, and I wrote it and someone else read it, and since it's starting to look like winter, finally,
Yeah, finally.
I thought I'd read it tonight. It's called Of Wings and Evergreens, a winter's poem. I reach into my winter coat and I find flowers, wild and peaceful jasmine flowers, the ones you picked for me, reappearing as tiny doves in my hand, like Zuzu's petals, innocent reminders of you, such as in the way they coo and ruffle, their sweet scent rising, lifting thoughts into flight, as if carried away upon little white wings to those forests of yours, to watch the sacrifice of wet reticent branches, pinched and broken in the rain, fulfilling this is first finale toward their destiny as joyful wreaths of winter. Oh, the mixture of jasmine and pine in December, and visions of wings and evergreens dancing naked in my head. What else matters? In my gluttonous imagination it begins to snow, rainwater turning to stinging ice, a winter's freeze undaunted. Your eyelashes, look, sprinkled snowy white, like dovetails. Your breath, your power, the green, the white, the wet, the wild, the cold, the snow, everything encircling you, the ice queen. At last, a winter wonderland to call your own, all things coming into existence because of you, including me, the watcher, my soul bequeathed in a winter wreath, inexorably woven and intertwined amid petals, pine needles, and thread, captured within those scented circles you spindle, contemplations circling and circling, glistening in freeze frame, reflecting this cold and naked day in December, this winter of you. So let's see. I'll just do one more. It's kind of a we call it a nostalgic poem, I guess. It's about first love, and so anyway, it's called what is this? Against a Forest Hill. If you searched for me, I could be found. You alone know the whereabouts of my hideout. Same as yours, same as before, remember? We found it together, though separately, by pure coincidence, beneath the highway, above the shore, against a forest hill. Like little foxes, all alone, they were, you and I, telling secrets in seclusion, in shadow, in filtered light, subduing laughter in false whispers, shushing one another. Lest we be caught prematurely, hiding out or not. Hey, I should have kissed you then, while chance was nigh before me. Felt you wanted one or more, but far too naive was I for my own cleverness, or for my own good. Yes, too shy and undaring, both of us unacquainted with the risk and rewards, or how to satisfy the palpitation of a quickened heart. For you were just a girl, and I was but a boy. A distant shout echoes and resounds, holly olly income free, and out from the womb we dart, coming home safe, sharing winning smiles of constellation tinged with drops of sadness, for a reminiscent moment, forever lingering, our clandestine encounter in timeless flashback, slipping the grasp of fate, living only as a memory now, within our shadowy hideout, beneath the highway, above the shore, against a forest hill. Thank you, everybody.
Nice way to end the evening. We have some prizes here, and we'll have somebody shuffle the cards.
This the first time you've done this?
No. Yeah. All right. Hopefully they're good and shuffled, unlike last time. Okay. We have the mini feature available. We have 2 books, poetry books, anthologies. There's Rumpelstiltskin or What's in the Name by Zara Robb, who is one of our features this evening. Bust Poems by G.M. Cook. We have Eyes Stone by Ilana Bell, and it's another anthology called Rattle. Okay, and we also have an Audubon magazine here. So it should be enough for everyone. Okay, here we go. Drum roll. Number 2. Number 2 is Owen Dunkel.
I'll take the mini feature.
Mini feature, all righty. Work.
I wonder why the mini feature.
Next week. So next week, yes, yeah.
Oh, next week.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Sure.
Great, okay. That's one thing about the mini feature. You got to show up for next week.
Okay.
That will be February 5th?
Yes.
Yeah, February 5th. All right. Next one, number 12. Ben. Ben's here. Ben is left. All right. Number 4 is next. Mr. Jack O'Neill.
Okay, I think Rumpelstiltskin.
All right. Good choice. Next up, number 16, and that is Garrett. All right.